I want you to watch this quick video of a dear friend of mine, and then I will go into what this video is about.
I'll be a little transparent. I have lived with depression for most of my life, and I have prayed for it to go away, right? And I'm not saying that God is not able to take it away, but what I am saying is that victory didn't look like the depression being taken away. Victory didn't look like, oh, now my brain is working the right way. What victory actually looked like was, God, now you are giving me the grace to live through this. You've given me the grace to be vulnerable with my community, to seek out help when I need it, to find a counselor who can walk me through this, to find a discipler to walk me through this, to study the word, to seek and find you, to realize that you are close to the brokenhearted. God is saying that victory is promised, but the victory is not just based off of what we want, but the victory is ultimately God's glory.
So, I haven't been okay. I know I've made a lot of videos where I have made this statement, but since the beginning of this year, since the second week, going into the second week of January, I have not been okay. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things have happened that have triggered me to the point of me crying for days straight. There has been a definite rise of anxiety and panic attacks. And I'm in a situation with people that I never thought I would find myself in. And it breaks me every day knowing that it is a new reality that I have to live. And it is something that I cannot talk about because of legal stuff. I'll say that. To the few people who have reached out to me, who have noticed my absence, I do greatly appreciate it. But I also wanted to take this time to give some, updated facts about what I deal with mental health wise, especially because when I plan to drop this video, it'll be the beginning of May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, hi, my name is Soraya. I am a 29-year-old Christian who deals with depression, anxiety, borderline personality disorder, and schizoaffective disorder. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of what all these are and the symptoms that show up the most for me for each of these diagnoses that I have. So for depression, I think a common misconception that people think of with depression, that they think it's just only sadness. Sadness is just only really a small part of it. Depression is just this great sense of uselessness mixed with feeling nothing, with hopelessness, loneliness. It's very dark. It's very dark. And then anxiety is very crippling. It is not even just a worry about things. It's genuine fear for me, at least. It shows up as fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of good things happening to me, because anytime something good happened, it was followed by something very tragic and traumatic. So I never got to fully live in a good moment without something bad happening right after. Borderline personality disorder, BPD for short. Well, with the recent therapist that I had, we discussed of me having quiet BPD versus regular BPD. Now, they are both the same, but the only difference is that with quiet BPD, everything is internalized. So with regular BPD, a lot of the emotions and negative actions that a person can do when they're in these like manic states are externalized. So a lot of self-harmful behaviors like reckless drinking, reckless spending, overeating, over-exercising, overworking, hate towards others. And then with quiet BPD, everything is internalized. So I keep everything inside, and I just wear a mask all the time. And it is a very heavy load to carry. It is not a load that I chose to carry. It's a load that I've been forced to carry because, unfortunately, I've been through many experiences in my life that have made me feel like pain is the only thing that I'm meant to go through. Pain that doesn't even feel like the type of pain that you would experience like with childbirth, like you're creating something beautiful out of it, or like you're putting pressure on a coal to make a diamond, or pressuring like granules of sand together inside an oyster to make a pearl. Like pain that is bone crushing, that you're endlessly bleeding and you don't get the chance to heal, you don't get the chance to breathe. That is what it feels like for me, but I internalize it. So on the outside, it doesn't look like I'm going through anything. And there's this saying that is like, oh, like, don't look like what you've been through. And for people like me, whether you deal with BPD or not, but just if you are someone that internalizes everything that you're going through, that could be a very harmful statement. Because, yeah, I don't want to look like what I've been through, because if I do look like what I've been through, if I do, then you're going to know that something's wrong with me, and I don't want to be the center of attention in that way, because I don't want people to pity me or even have empathy for me, because I don't even really like having empathy towards myself, let alone sadness, because that makes me feel low-key disgusting on the inside. That's like, why am I allowing myself to feel this way? No, shut up. Because that's how I've been treated. Not even with people's words, but more so with people's actions than their words, because actions speak louder than words. Then with schizoaffective disorder, is more so hallucinations that I deal with. I deal with vision and auditory hallucinations. So auditory hallucinations will be like me hearing vibrating like from a phone, even though I keep my phone on silent. Thinking that I hear like tapping on the walls or the door when there's like no sound that was made, or there was no one knocking on my door. Me thinking I heard someone say something when they're right next to me, when their mouth didn't even move at all to like say anything. The visual hallucinations is more so just like dark spots and shadow-like things that I will see from my peripheral view, or I'll see like a spot and then I won't even be staring for the spot for that long, but then it'll look like it's moving. So that is a quick synopsis of what all my diagnosis is. I hope I said that right. What all my diagnosis is look like. July 5th of this year will be the 2-year anniversary since my last attempt. And excuse me, and I remember last year I went live on TikTok, and my friend Bex, she had asked me if I think she asked me something along the lines of like if I feel bad about it, or if I like, it was something along those lines, that type of question. And it about to be coming up on the 2-year anniversary of that day, the answer that I gave then is the same as I feel now. That is like yes and no. I deal with something called passive suicidal ideation. And the best way that I could describe it is that I have no intentions to do anything to try to harm myself or take my own life away. But if I was in a situation where one or both of those things could happen, I would not stop it from happening. That is the best way that I can describe it. And that is something that's something that that's just been like a thing for me for quite some time now. I mean, before 2022, I would say I was pretty actively suicidal from like the age of like 4 or 5. And then from 2022 up until now, haven't made any action towards the thoughts, but the thoughts are still there. And it's not like I want them to be there. They're intrusive thoughts. They are a type of intrusive thoughts. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, like it's just a part of me now, I can't do nothing about it. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's something that I don't have control over. Like, it's there, you know? And then of course, me being Christian and other Christians that may come across this video may think like, how can you be this person that in a sense is like spiritual in a way, but then struggle or deal with something like this? And it's possible because it can happen to anybody. Doesn't matter what religion you practice, doesn't matter what your background is. Mental illness can happen to anybody. Mental illness doesn't hold back from anyone. And when God created this world, He of course didn't have a dark thing like mental illness, like trauma, like abuse to be a part of it. But because of man, from like the first sin fall of man up until now, it's become a part of the world. But that doesn't mean that God can't work around it. Now, like in the video that I had like put a bit before I started talking of my friend Chris Lilly, he had said of how healing for him was God giving him the grace to live with what he lives with. And it is a reality and truth that I've had to accept for myself for a long time now, that this is something that I'm going to be living with for a very long time. I don't know how long, but it's going to be for a significant amount of time. And it's not to say that God can't take it away, because He can, but He doesn't have to. And healing for me could, like how my friend Chris said, of like God giving me the grace to live with this day in and day out, along with things that, thank God, are a part of this world now, like therapy, psychotherapy, and medication. And that is like it's a normal that I haven't gotten used to yet. And I'm not saying this to say that it's like I'm making my mental illness a part of my identity, because my identity is in Christ. I know that. but I'm saying this as like, this is my reality and this is my truth. And just because my truth and my reality look different from yours, especially if you claim to share the same faith as me, does not mean that I am any less of a person of the faith than you. Because I know there's going to be people who have that mindset, especially people who have just like a uber spiritual, overly religious view when it comes to things like that. And I make the type of content that I do, whether it's been here on YouTube. I haven't really made content like this video on my YouTube in a minute because I've kind of just been stuck on the K-pop route. But K-pop is something that has helped my mental health. K-pop is like a safety net for me almost, and I thank God for it every day. I mean, I've been a fan of K-pop for a very long time. I've been a fan of K-pop since 2007. So I've been a fan of K-pop for a minute, but I only just decided to start making content about it from like just over a year ago, I want to say. It has been one of the best things that ever happened to me. So I got stuck with like just making the K-pop content on here for a bit, but I will still do it every now and then on my Instagram and on TikTok, and then my podcast, which I have to work on being more consistent on, but that's on me. And I choose to make this content about this because people need to know, more so people in the faith need to know that, like, hey, you're not alone, because I know there's more people like me out there. Like, I interact with them on social media, those that follow me, like every other day, and they have similar story to mine or even a similar diagnosis to me. To let them know that is like, hey, like, it's hard, but it'll be okay. And at the end of the day, like, because my username on literally everything, every social media that I have, well, except for Facebook, is Soroya the Vessel or Soroya Vessel, because I am nothing but a vessel. I was created to be used for God's glory. And a lot of people may hear that and think that that's weird, but God created me as a vessel, as a masterpiece. Ephesians 2:10, for we were created for God's workmanship. Or in some versions, I believe that the NIV version is, for we are his, like, masterpiece, created for good works that he set beforehand. So when I think of that verse, I apply it to me, that is like, God created me as like a work of art, a masterpiece, a vessel, to be filled with the things of him, to be able to share it and pour that out to other people. And yeah, that's like the story, like, behind my username, if any of y'all were even curious. And then even with my podcast, Kintsugi Talks, the art form of kintsugi is a Japanese art form where they would take pottery that has been broken, like plate, vases, like mugs, things of that nature, and traditionally it is melded together with melted down gold. And the philosophy behind that is that before, whatever was broken was beautiful, but there is this more just added nuance of beauty added onto it, because you can see where it has broken because of the gold, and it adds this extra beauty to it. And I even got a tattoo on my arm because of it. Brokenness is still beautiful. And I have that on my arm as a reminder. And hopefully that is a reminder to all of you watching, well, to anyone who comes across this video, that your brokenness is still beautiful. Now, before I end this video, I want to mention again that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and if you haven't been following my social media outside of YouTube, then you probably want to know that I have started a fundraiser about, was it a month ago? I think it was a month ago. With AFSP, which is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And I did a fundraiser for them last year where I did reach my goal of $1,500, I believe it was. But my goal for this year's fundraiser is $5,000. And I will leave the link for that below in the description so that you can go and donate to it, and any amount helps really. And if you yourself are not able to donate, then please share it to people who you know would want to donate. And also, AFSP is doing a walk in New York City. It is going to be on October 5th, I believe. If anything, I'll just put the details on the screen. And I, of course, plan on walking. I walked last year and I had an amazing time, and I was honored to be a part of the bead ceremony, where they have different color beads that represent different things, and I was part of the ceremony to represent someone who has attempted, but it was a beautiful experience, and I'm happy that I get to be a part of that experience once again. And it's a new norm for me now. Like, I will be participating in this for as long as I live on this earth. So again, I'll have the details of like when the walk is going to be here, along with the link to donate to my fundraiser below. But if you live in New York City, or don't live that too far outside from the New York City limits, like the tri-state area, and would want to participate in this walk with me, feel free to DM me on any of my social medias. The links for all those will be below. And I could try to like make a group for us, and like a group page for us, so that if you want to try to like fundraise along with like the amount that I'm fundraising, then I think that would be pretty cool. So yes, that is the end of this video, and I'm gonna try to do like, not like everyday vlogs, but just like more kind of like videos like this on my channel, and at least to get back to making more like mental health related videos on this channel. Also, by the time this goes up, there will be a new podcast episode up of mine, and the link for that will also be in the description below. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more content like this from me, and if you have like requests for certain topics that you want me to talk about, the like reaction topic request form will be in the description below. Make sure you subscribe, because I want this community to grow. Also join the Discord. Discord link will also be in the description below. Well, it'll be in the Linktree description, and if not, I'll make sure to actually put the separate link in the description below. And yeah, and until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye.